Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Welcome back to the channel. How you doing? So, as you can know, we're all waiting for the patch. It's going to be a little bit later. I'm getting bored. I'm getting tired. I decided I want to do something a little different. So I'm going to be ranking every single card in Marvel Snap from a general sentiment, but I want to go from each like tier. So we're gonna start with the starter cards, then we have the recruit cards, then we have the like collection, like early collection, and pool one, and blah blah blah. You know how it goes. So that's my game plan. It gives me something to do, something that's not like super convoluted, I would say. So let's get into it. So we do have a tier list that I'm going to be working with. We've got S to F. S is strong, so these cards are just like great cards. F is good; it fits in the good decks. They're not like premium. B works generally well, so they're still played. All of these are like played, but like S is like everyone plays it. A is like almost used, so these are like on the cusp of like being like very strong, but like they're outshined or whatever. D is generally weak, and F is like these cards probably need a change in some way. So that's kind of my thoughts on the matter. So let's get started. Right now we have all the starter cards. So these are cards everyone starts with, and we're gonna be ranking them. So I want like these short, quick, maybe not quick. Like once we get into pool three, that's gonna take forever. But for now it's short. So let's get into it. So we're gonna go in alphabetical order. First we have Abomination. So this card's a 5/9, no power. It got buffed recently, but it's still like rarely, if ever, played. I would say this card isn't like I wouldn't say it needs changes, but I'd say it's generally weak. Even in like Patriot decks, like it doesn't like shine as brightly. Maybe if this was like a 5/10, you could maybe like argue it, but for now it's like blah blah blah. Cyclops as well is gonna fit here. In generally weak. I could see this being in niche changes, but with Patriot and with Silver Surfer, I actually think there are some places to go. I could honestly see this being a 3/5 though, so I can see this one needing changes. And I don't even think that would be bad. If this was a 3/5, I think I would still be like, yeah, this is okay. Hawkeye definitely needs changes. This card is so weak. I don't see the appeal of running a Hawkeye almost ever. It telegraphs your plays, and it's generally just a bad card. Not a fan of it. Hulk, I think is generally weak. So yeah, the starter cards are struggling right now. I will say. um, the problem with this card is that it doesn't do anything, and 12 power for six is actually not that impressive. Like if maybe this was like 13 power, maybe this is like better, but like there's just extras with 12 power that have better abilities than nothing. So I would say like also Hulk, I could see this being needs changes too, but I'm going to be generous with Hulk. Iron Man, however, Iron Man's a good card. I would actually say Iron Man, it goes up here. I think this is actually a strong card. Fits in good decks. You can play this card. Generally strong. So whoo! They put a card that's playable in their starting cards. You love to see it. Um, but yeah, just not the best particular card in the game. Next up, we have Medusa. Medusa, I would say, I would say it's. What if it's a 2/5? Would I say this is kind of strong as a 2/5? I would say it's kind of strong as a 2/5. I would say it's generally weak. I could even see it needs changes, but I think right now, like early game, this is one of the best cards in the early game, which is like sad. So I'm not gonna say it's generally weak, but like once you pass early game, this card doesn't see play. But it does have a niche if you can play it early. It's kind of fine. Misty Knight, I would say this is a little bit better than the others. Even though it has the same ability, same almost use potential, the fact that it's actually played in Patriot decks is its only like saving grace. It is used, but it doesn't work generally well, and it's only used in that one archetype. But in that archetype, it's a good card. So this one I'll give a little bit of a saving grace here. Same thing with Punisher. It's not a bad card, but it's outshined by the other two level 3 ongoings. I have a video on it early in the channel, but yeah, it's not a weak card, but you'd rather much play the other 3 drops than this one. So it's hard to recommend. Quicksilver. Quicksilver, I think, is almost used. I actually think it's not a horrible card. Some people hate this card, but I actually think there's some plays with it that you can use with. Most people will say if you're gonna play Quicksilver, just don't play any don't play a one, you know. But I actually think it's a little bit better than that. So I'm not gonna give those people sway here, and I'm gonna say it's almost used. Not a great card, but has its uses. Now Sentinel. Sentinel's actually played. Sentinel is actually respectable. I would say it's up here. The ability to just keep filling your hand and having the things to do on us beginning early as pool 2 or 2 mana is generally really solid. So I actually think this card is pretty decent. Definitely a playable card and one that I think is fine with. Shocker. Shocker, I think, is generally weak. It's a little bit worse than Misty Knight because it's 2 mana or instead of the 1. And you're paying 2 for 3. Honestly, I could see this down here. It's just generally not the greatest card. Patriot is saving all of these cards, I'm telling you. Patriot is saving these cards like crazy. Star-Lord, I'm going to say needs changes. I think this could use another buff. It got a buff, right? But I think it could use another one. Like, there's no real upside for playing Star-Lord. There's just a huge downside. You're playing a 2-mana 2/2. Whereas the upside is a 2/5, but like, why risk it? Just play like a 2/4 or something. And there are 2/5s potentially in the game that are a lot easier to execute than the Star-Lord. So I don't like this one. And the thing as well, I think also needs changes. Just not a great card in the game, I would say, just because it's 4 mana for 6, which is not impressive, and you're not really feeling great about this one at all. So yeah, not a big fan of these cards, especially the expensive ones. Honestly, you know, if I'm being critical, I might change the rating as I go. Like as we start seeing more other cards. This is like their own tier where I'm like, all right. But I can see I'm not gonna do it, but I can see like all of the cards moving down one later on. But for now, these are just the starter cards. Hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves.
Educated calling to snap. Once you watch him, you won't go back. He'll teach you tomorrow, snap. Your skill